in the semi-final stage of this particular competition. They have history when they are always playing against Spanish teams at San Siro and as a Giuseppe Meazza. But then in the last 25 games, against most of these Spanish teams in the UEFA Champions League semi-final, I said even in all other competition when it comes to UEFA Champions League, this is Inter Milan who are thriving very well until 2019. The side of FC Barcelona were able to capture with that particular moment. Xavi was able to beat Inter Milan Giuseppe Meazza by 2-1. They stopped that particular unbeaten record against the side of the Spanish teams meeting against Inter Milan Giuseppe Meazza. But when it comes to the UEFA Champions League semi-final, there is a history. Apart from 1964-65, Heleno Herrera took Inter Milan into the European Cup competition in the finals of winning back-to-back. They went ahead in the 1981 semi-final and they were able to be evicted out. They went again in 1984 semi-final and then they were able to be evicted out. In the 1999 semi-final too, they were able to be evicted. So the side of Inter Milan has crossed most of these particular moments in the semi-final stage of this UEFA Champions League semi-final. But then, in most of the 7 attempts to meet Mambikino, Emu 3 penalties successive enough. Emu 4 penalties successive enough for Inter Milan for them to advance into the stage of the final in that particular UEFA Champions League, and they've been able to go ahead to win Emu 3 and Emu 1 penalty losing in that particular finals, for that particular period. But then when you talk about the last time, the side of Inter Milan was losing at the side of Giuseppe Meazza and was far back in 2022 when they were in the group stage. And I said when they were in the group game against Bayern Munich at that time, that Julian Nagelsmann was coaching this particular football club, and they came to Giuseppe Meazza to score Inter Milan by 2-0. So that was a record that Omutimi Eseti Edema the side of Simeone Inzaghi, Giuseppe Meazza. They stopped Giuseppe Meazza and they stopped the side of Inter Milan, Giuseppe Meazza, and they were not able to retaliate when it comes to so almost either a consolation goal and also almost equalizer far back in 2019. But against the 3 biggest Spanish clubs, Spain, against Atletico Bilbao and Atletico Madrid, they were able to score Atletico Madrid Giuseppe Meazza by 1-0. Against the side of FC Barcelona, the last time Barca called a draw, it was a certain Simeone Inzaghi who was able to actually capitalize on that particular moment. After 2019, they actually sealed that unbeaten run against the Spanish teams. It was a certain Simeone Inzaghi who was able to stop them by that particular draw against FC Barcelona last 2 seasons. Giuseppe Meazza and against Real Madrid Football Club, they were able to have a point in that particular group game against Real Madrid Football Club in the UEFA Champions League. So when it comes to the UEFA Champions League against most of these Spanish clubs, they are having a good record against them. But then in the last game, Giuseppe Meazza against the side of FC Barcelona, they've been able to score 8 goals against FC Barcelona. And Barca has been able to score close to about 4 goals against Inter Milan. In 2010, they scored the side of FC Barcelona by 3-1. What check it about in 2018 and also in 2019 FC Barca. That was the time Barca shared the side of Inter Milan by 2-1. Barca met them in 2018 and it was a 1-1 draw. Barca side in 2022, and then the side of Inter Milan was able to score FC Barcelona by 1-0. And the last game, Inter Milan has been able to score a huge number of goals against FC Barcelona. So it is telling you clearly, although when you check about the working rate and attacking force of Inter Milan, they don't score a lot of goals against most of these Spanish clubs, and I said Barcelona. But meeting against Barca, they've been able to score 8 goals as compared to FC Barcelona scoring just 4 goals against the side of Inter Milan, Giuseppe Meazza. It tells you, this will be a classical match, a difficult match to game. Barcelona will have a great thing to do against this particular side. But boss, so we checking in the last time, Inter Milan at Giuseppe Meazza was able to have a huge ticket. Giuseppe Meazza, it was far back in 2023. That was the semi-final stage against Inter Milan and AC Milan. Take it in the UEFA Champions League semi-final. Giuseppe Meazza was close to about 12 million euros. Ticket sales Inter Milan. This particular night, breaking that financial gatekeeping fee at the Inter Milan Giuseppe Meazza, 40 million euros. It tells you this will be a classical match against the side of Inter Milan. But then in the last 15 games, Inter ABOU or San Siro and either Giuseppe Meazza, they have been able to become unstoppable in the last 3 years. apart from the side of Barcelona scoring them by 2-1 in 2019, they've become a solid rock against most of these games. Obetimabo, was San Siro, and I said Giuseppe Meazza for them. And the last 15 games, they've been able to get close to about 11 wins and 4 draws for themselves. It tells you, say, Inter Milan at home, they are a formidable pointer. They can easily score you, or they can easily get a point against this particular side. It is telling you, say, they can easily do a lot of things against the side of FC Barcelona, meeting them the Champions League second leg. But Ahanom will become a tactical point and with them. But the starting lineup a bit Inter Milan will become a 3-5-2 tactical system. As Simeone Inzaghi will try as much as possible to make a lot of variations. So Bastoni will become that left centre back and that left full back on the side of Inter Milan. Akebi will become the main sweeper, and Bisek will become that particular other 3 back with my support to Akebi and Bastoni in that particular defensive structure. And then Jan Soma will become that particular goalkeeper with the side of Inter Milan. But when it comes to the midfield, Di Marco, Mkhitaryan, Canhaglo, Barella, and Dumfries will become that 5 compactable midfielders as an inverted fullback just to support Mkhitaryan, Canhaglo, and Barella. It will Inter Milan to make a lot of progression into the attacking third. But when it comes to 2 attackers on the side of Inter, Marco Thuram and Lautaro Martinez will become that 2 definite strikers. They will lead the attacking line for the side of Inter Milan in this particular. But when it comes to the side of FC Barcelona, there will be a lot of tactical changes for the side of Hansi because of he's having a lot of injuries and he's having a lot of people at the experience rate or more that kind of composure for them to carry the pressure. Inter Milan a bit opposite on FC Barcelona, and I'm thinking Inigo Martinez this time wouldn't be played as a left centre back, but then will be shifted to the left full back position for him to be played over there, and Arao will become a left centre back. Pau Kubasi will remain as a main sweeper in the die-hard defense of FC Barcelona on one case a defensive structure, and Eric Garcia will become the right full back position for FC Barcelona. Frankie de Jong, Pedri will become these 2 pivotal players to become stable for the side of FC Barcelona. And Enimuhon will become Rafinha, Dani Olmo, Yamal. Dani Olmo will become a central creativa for FC Barcelona. Rafinha will stay in the right wing forward for Barca. And then Yamal will become that particular left flank person with a lot of overloads. Ediam by the side of FC Barcelona. But Ferran Torres, whether we like it or not, Romelu Lewandowski team are coming back, but then it will be a decision for Hansi Flick to make sure Sobetimi had to say a lot of things for the side of FC Barca. Barca Flick will want to have a lot of tactical movement for the side of FC Barcelona. It will become a good omen. Said the last first leg on Mondrigo, it was a tactical display by the side of Hansi Flick when he was able to make sure that Szczesny will become a main sweeper who will actually open up the compactable mid block and the compactable defensive structure of the side of FC Barcelona, making sure a lot of things are the 2 central parts will try to create a lot of overloads in the right flanks of Barca or Makasa a fullbacks position, just for them to carry and transition the ball into the attacking third. But then in terms of transition, they will have 2 pivotal midfielders, either Frankie de Jong and also Pedri will come close the zone 14 just to carry the ball and also to protect the backyard of the zone 14 for them to make the transition very beautifully for the side of FC Barcelona. But I will check the positions and the orientation of Simeone Inzaghi. Faso press against FC Barcelona, Faso press against most of these opponents. It tells you that he doesn't press with either Lautaro Martinez and also Marco Thuram in the zone 14 of the opponent, but he pressed with either Federico Di Marco and also Henry Mkhitaryan for him to press and get the ball, make sure to create enough chances in the attacking zone of FC Barcelona. This is it. So Di Marco will become a left fullback. Press it very well. Noah created 2 versus 1 situation in the right hand side of FC Barca or Mancasa a position. Then you get Barella and then Canhoglo who depicts that particular zonal marking zone against Pedri and Frankie de Jong in the midfield of FC Barcelona. It tells you this will be a competitive game. You wouldn't see the side of Simeone Inzaghi who will try to play the 5-3-2 a bit more open up wide. No, or the 3-5-2 still Clark TF, and then he's trying to make sure that the 5 solid midfielders will become compactable in the midfield. So as you can see here, this is the kind of transition and the kind of triangular square that the side of Hansi Flick will try to depict in the die-hard defense of FC Barca. A lot of transition. So Makacho said Pau Kubasi this time around will also try to carry the ball, will also try to possess the ball into the attacking third, but then we will have a lot of combinative passes with Obisa Jules Conde in that particular right full back and will carry the ball to the side of Frankie de Jong for him to progress the ball beautifully. Because when it comes to progression of the ball, Pedri and Frankie de Jong, they have good progress of the ball. It's Obisa Frankie de Jong and Obisa make a lot of things. But then Diogo de Possession will make a lot of movement in the midfield of FC Barcelona. In the Diogo de Possession, it is two. Either so carry ball vertically in the attacking in the central midfield attacking third of Inter Milan, and also be open up wide. So steady Hansi Flicker. The moment that Inter Milan baba compactable ball, he will try to make sure that the Diogo de Possession tactical formation will be ensured effectively in the midfield of FC Barcelona. So check it right here on your tactical border. This is obviously Frankie de Jong who try to progress the ball, but he will make sure that obviously Danny Olmo a creative in attacking third of FC Barcelona. No, he will come into the midfield of Barcelona midfield, and obviously Pedri will be in the standpoint for him to get the ball and transition the ball directly to Danny Olmo in attacking prowess. No, then you get obviously Rafinha who be shifted from the right wing forward into the central midfield just to create two magical squares in attacking side of FC Barcelona for him to progress the ball. So Hansi Flick will try to make a lot of things for the side of FC Barcelona. But DIABY, look at this particular three, percentages. Barca a lot of overloads at the right wing forward. The side of Inter Milan a lot of overload for the central midfield, and then Barcelona will try to make a lot. Inter Milan will also try to make a lot of overload in the left hand flank. But then Sebastian a lot of things. Check your hand on more this particular thing that shall do a hand. This is FC Barcelona. Lamine Yamal trying to pull up a lot of things. Although say you create a lot of space here, but Lamine Yamal will try to unbalance the defensive structure of Inter Milan attacking prowess. Because of say Lamine Yamal, he gets 2 versus 1 situation for him to get the ball to himself and for him to carry the ball into the attacking third. I'm predicting since Pedri a fine game like this, so a lot of positional passing to attacking third. Pedri will make an assist for Rafinha to score this game. Barca will qualify.
Barca will qualify.
Yes, Barca will qualify.
Scoreline be Ohana.
Barca will share.
Obako Shinte.
Obako Shinte. Obako qualify.
Obaman scoreline Diana.
Scoreline. 2-1 for Barca.
2-1 for Barca.
I have a solid faith in Hansi Flick. He will qualify.
Obako qualify.
This time around, he will break all records against Inter Milan and then he will qualify.
Mate, but I say the mind show. That's why I say. Maestro.
DIABY.
Maestro.
DIABY.
And you know you're the mind show. Now, but the team here today. Come cop na mene nyakwa abronoma. Eni komo efefi amunzu heba. Clinic koma so esimadu. Na you head no where man yakwa nze bia boko there.
Adom ti onya share goals no said you kan yin.
Why nya share goals?
Maestro. So ono na no de mo.
La bi ball on crowd mo akose ni che bia bi.
Wait.
Omo share.
Eh, na so di na mai.
Na
ABOU bi dia.
Me bu bia ka bi.
Na wana na edwa na numa na